What is up, everybody? This is episode 6 of Fuck It, We Ball. We're back after a little week off. This week we got Gagain with us. This is one of mine and Braden's best friends growing up. We used to all live in California. We're going to just talk about our lives, how we met, how he got into college football. We'll kind of go from there. So Connor, thankful that you're on the show. Finally got some free time out of you. I know you're very busy with, your football schedule, but just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Like Stonzo said, the three of us, we grew up in Roseville, California. It's like a little bit out of Sacramento. We all grew up playing sports. It's always been a huge part of my life, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit, but grew up with a family of 5, lived there my whole life, lucky enough, and then went to college out here in Idaho. But yeah.
For sure. So kind of starting everything off, so we all obviously played like sports growing up together. We played baseball, football, basketball. But you play football at the next level. So like what changed to put you into like, I want to play football over, I want to play baseball or basketball or something else? Like, what was it about football that you wanted to like make a career out of?
Yeah, I always started off as like a 3-sport athlete. I thought I was pretty decent, all of them. But after like my freshman year, I was like, okay, I probably need to start focusing on like 1 or 2. So I dropped baseball because I thought, that was probably the one where I wasn't as good. And then kind of after my sophomore season, like playing varsity, I'm like, all right, I might have some potential at this. And, a couple of my buddies and coaches, people I look up to were like, hey, like you could have a future at this. Like you're a pretty good tight end. You might want to like take this more serious. So the off season, I like bulked up a little bit, started taking weightlifting and conditioning a lot more serious. And then, started talking to college coaches after that. And pretty much like that sophomore, junior year is really where I was like, yeah, like this is the sport I'm going to continue with. Because I didn't play football until freshman year of high school, so it's kind of quick, transition to take it serious. But yeah, I knew that was probably the sport that I had the best shot of getting a scholarship.
For sure. It's kind of crazy to think that like in middle school, none of us played tackle football. We just played for our middle school or the flag football team. And Connor was the quarterback at the time. He plays tight end. Now Braden was the tight end and I played wide receiver. So like we had great times doing that. That was like, we should have won 2 championships. I'll say that, but we won't call out any names of why we didn't win anything, but we should have won 2 back-to-back flag football championships. But it's like super interesting to see how you didn't really play tackle football, like you said, until you didn't at all until high school. But then, out of all of our friends and stuff, you're the one that's still playing college football.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was there freshman year when you started playing football, which is crazy because like we all went to all the games and stuff. But we've never really talked about like any of your recruiting or going into college, which is crazy to me. Like I never known about like any of your offers or like any of your options going in or anything like that, which was like for someone that was just going in tackle football freshman year and like diving into like recruiting and all that, like where people go to camps like throughout middle school and stuff like that. Like they're like ready to go. Like that had to be a crazy like way different side of the world for you, especially starting out freshman year.
So I think like there's definitely like a path to take, like especially with football, like you got the off-season camps and then you got the 7-on-7s. So I think that was stuff I wish I was a little more aware of, especially I think 7-on-7s when I was in high school was really big on recruiting. So that was something I didn't do. I went to a couple like local camps, like when like Sac City or Sac State would hold like I don't know what they call it, but they had like multiple schools come in. So I went to a couple of those, which helped out, talked a little bit of coaches there. But it did happen quick. But it's definitely a stressful process, which I think most guys would admit to. Even the guys, 5 stars with the Bama offers. It's a stressful decision to make. It's your first big decision in your life. So it was pretty stressful for me. But got recruited by pretty much every level except for FBS. But I had 2 D1 offers. In a lot of D2 schools and then the local JCs and D3s. But I ended up going to College of Idaho based off academics, financial situations, and then just how they recruited me. So it turned out to be a good decision. I've been here 4 or 5 years now. I'm a super senior playing velocity eligibility. So yeah, turned out well.
Little 5th-year senior.
Yeah, shouts out Kobe.
I'm 5th-year senior too, so we won't say anything negative about that. I would say like we've talked about this before. Like I always kept telling you like just play football as long as you can. At some point it's gonna stop and you're not gonna be able to play. So like I know like you might have been like at one point, like, maybe I won't come back for a fifth year. Maybe I'll just graduate, whatever, start my life. But like, I don't know if you had the chance to, and like this is what you decided to do anyways. Like, why not just play one more year? Like after this year, you don't know what's really going to happen. You might not even be able to play again. So like, definitely take advantage of like being able to play sports right now.
No doubt. Like I'm right on track with you there. Like that's what a lot of people say. Like play sports, go to college as long as you can. And I was against it for a little bit. Then I worked like full time, overtime all summer. I'm like, yeah, I should probably play a little more football. Yeah, I got the whole rest of my life to work. So
Exactly.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, the whole getting a full-time job and being an adult thing doesn't really sound fun to any of us, I don't think so.
No.
I'm trying to stay in college as long as I can too.
Yeah.
So you talked about the differences like of your freshman year to sophomore year, weightlifting, like taking football a little bit more serious. What were the differences between high school and going to college? And like how has it changed throughout college?
Yeah, I think no matter how real the person was recruiting me at any level, I don't think anyone could really prepare me to how much of a time commitment like college athletics really are. From like all the meetings of watching film, the lifts, the practices, of course, and just how difficult school can be, depending on your major. But yeah, so it was definitely a shock like going into fall camp. I'm 18-year-old, just left my hometown, and we got 2 days of lifts and meetings. You're going 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So it was definitely a shock for how time consuming it was.
For sure. I mean, being an athlete in college, I could never do it personally. Like, I just don't think I'd have like unless I was like super great at a sport. I don't think I'd have the motivation to just like work that hard. Like, you guys are always doing something, especially football. Like, I see the football players here at Temple. Like, there's no time for them to like be students. It's crazy. So transitioning a little bit, we're going to start talking about just like some things in the sports world. We can talk about basketball, football, baseball. We can talk about anything right now. So the college football season just started. Other than like yourself, obviously, do you follow college football team?
Oh yeah, I don't have a favorite college football team. I kind of just follow like my boys who play. So I definitely watch all those games, but in general, I just like to watch good football. So I try to keep up as much as I can. Obviously, everybody saw the Oregon-Ohio State game, so that was a good game. Things like that,
Yeah, the Oregon-Ohio State game was crazy. I thought I had Ohio State minus 15. Thought they were a lock for that, and they ended up playing horrible. Defense couldn't get a stop when they needed one. Offense just so bad. Oh, well, not bad. Like, they scored a lot of points, but like so inconsistent. So they're missing Justin Fields.
Could have hit me up before the game. I knew that I had Oregon all the way. Dude, plus 14.5, bro. I was hyped when they lost, though. I did not expect Oregon to win, but I did expect them to put up like a decent fight because Ohio State did not play the greatest against Minnesota the week before. So, like, bro, I'm hyped. This just like makes the Big Ten wide open. Like Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, everything should be wide open for the Big Ten.
I feel like you're a little biased though, being a Michigan student.
Dude, bro, that place was rocking on Saturday night. I could not believe how many people were there, how many students were just hyped to be there. It would have been a better game if Washington hadn't lost to, I think, Montana week 1, but I mean, it was such an amazing game. Like, Washington had their section or whatever, but it was a maze out, so the entire place was yellow, and you could not see like any color other than yellow. And then if it was purple, it was just like their section, and then it was just yellow throughout. It was insane atmosphere.
Michigan looks good this year. Like,
we've played Western and Washington. Calm down.
Well, I get that, but I don't know. I don't know. I think that they're probably like the typical, like what they normally are. Like, they're still probably going to lose like a game or two. But I mean, we'll see. Like, Ohio State's going to be a good game this year. I feel like they could lose to like a Northwestern or something like that. I think we kind of talked about this like last week a little bit. But I don't know. I could see Michigan. There's more teams in the playoffs this year, right?
I think they kept it at 4. I think it was just rumored.
Right now, which would be pretty crazy.
I mean, we could talk about that. Dude, I think that's the stupidest thing in the entire world.
Really?
I'll say my controversial take. I think that having 4 teams in the freaking playoff is so stupid. I think that you can have I think it's a pretty popular take, but I think that you can have 8. You can at least make it 8. And what's that hurt? Like you go over like a month of like a playoff, and what's that hurt anybody? Like except you find out that you bring money to the schools because all the schools now have a primetime game against a pretty prominent opponent from a different division. It's a prime game. It's like a bowl game or a playoff game, and everybody wins in it. You lose in it and you still win because you get all your students coming. The school gets credibility because you made it to the top 8 or whatever. It just hurts nobody. The NCAA is just not taking advantage of anything.
I thought at first that you said that they should keep it at 4 teams. That's stupid to expand it. I was like, no, like 4 teams is so whack. Like you have to have more.
People just get tired of seeing the same 4 teams every year,
Right.
And then those same 4 teams just get the best recruits every year too, so it makes it tough. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a year without Bama in it. Like,
right. It's always Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Oklahoma, even with Bama like losing games, like Bama can lose a game and they'll still be like, how can we get Alabama into the playoff? Like we need to get Alabama into the playoff because their team can still win in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like they can still lose a regular season game.
2 games. It's like they could still easily win the championship. So
yeah, I think
man, they don't belong up there.
Notre Dame is like they're the best team to like not be a real threat in the playoffs. Like they make the playoffs every year, and they they never lose games. They lose like 1 game a year maybe, and then they just get hammered in the playoffs. It's I don't know.
You're gonna set off the Notre Dame fans.
Sorry.
It helps that they're not in a division because they can kind of mold the schedule.
Yeah,
but
their schedule is usually a little easy to start off. I feel like until like the bowl games.
Dude, this is the wrong year for Notre Dame not to have it together. I'll pull up their schedule real quick. They have to play so many good teams.
They just played Akron last week and they played horrible.
Yeah.
And they played Toledo.
Oh, Toledo. My bad. We played.
So they play Purdue this week, which is a decently credible Big Ten team. Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, USC, UNC, Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Stanford. And I'm pretty sure 5 of those teams are ranked right now.
Yeah, it's a sturdy schedule.
Yeah. I'm probably going to be taking a lot of the opponents in that stretch because Notre Dame does not look to have it together. I mean, they almost lost to Florida State. Florida State got knocked off by Jacksonville State. And ipso facto, Jacksonville State almost beat Notre Dame.
Their offensive line, they lost 4 starters in the draft.
They did lose. They lost a lot of players in the first week too to Florida State. It was a pretty bad injury game.
They brought in Jack Cohn, the transfer from Wisconsin, who's played well, but he's running for his life and he's not like the most mobile quarterback out there. He's just like a stand in the pocket, throw the ball down the field kind of guy. And their offensive line just looks like a mess right now. Like that Toledo game, I mean, they scored with like a minute 40 left and they won, but I mean, they should be blowing out Toledo.
Yeah.
Like. Maybe I'm sleeping on Toledo. I don't know.
So, Connor, something that I've always wondered because I didn't grow like through high school years in California, but when I moved to Michigan, the college football scene just completely shifted. I had never seen like the Midwest college football is the sport to watch. Ann Arbor, a college town, like I had no idea what to expect going into Ann Arbor. Going to Ann Arbor, everything is the block M, yellow, blue, everybody's wearing it. So like, what are your thoughts on like college football out there? How did it change? Like, what do you think like the outlook on it is?
As far as like NorCal?
Just in general.
Yeah. I think it definitely like depends on like the region you're living in. I think it would have been like a lot different if you grew up like in Los Angeles, You got USC and UCLA out there, like big time schools, maybe more towards the Bay. You see Berkeley. But I mean the FCS teams like Sac State, Davis, I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that, huge diehard fans. But there's definitely like the demographic there that like loves those teams. But I don't know. Once you get to the South and like Midwest, I don't think there's anything like it. I mean, like once I moved out here, 20 minutes from Boise, like you go anywhere here, there's diehard fans. And I think a lot of that kind of has to do with like, there's nothing else out there, Like they don't have a Sacramento Kings or a Oakland A's or a San Francisco Giants. So that's where they just pay all their attention to. It's kind of like their team,
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about how like the conferences are kind of getting all, mixed up now? Like Texas and Oklahoma look to be joining the SEC, and then
Or it, bro.
the Big 12's taking a bunch of teams from like the AAC, and like they're taking BYU.
Yeah, I haven't looked a lot into like which specific teams are like moving where per se, but I'm all for like equaling out like all the conferences. Like, I mean, obviously the SEC is a powerhouse, but you make a few moves, kind of level the playing field. It'd be pretty cool. So I'm all for the leagues moving.
Yeah, I think
It's just
me and
tough.
Brayden have kind of talked this. What's up?
It's like tough with travel for a lot of those teams. Just like longer flights. I guess it doesn't really matter, but
Yeah. So
Especially when they're
basically, I feel like,
students.
yeah, I feel like they're like professionals though. Like they treat them like professionals, but
I
like
mean,
they also expect so much like work out of them, like on the
uh,
academic side. It's so, I don't know. I think it's kind of fucked up.
yeah, it's tough, especially for those like tweener kids, that like could have a shot at the league, but also like trying to take academics serious. It's tough if you're like flying out on a Wednesday or Thursday and you're missing all these classes, but hey man, they're trying to bring the revenue in, get the good games. So
Exactly. Um, I don't know. Me and Brayden have talked about like the conferences moving a little bit, or teams moving conferences, and it's gonna be fun for fans, I think, to watch like Texas play Alabama or Oklahoma play Alabama more like yearly and regularly now. But then you look at like the Big 12, they're losing their two best teams, and yeah, they might take like Houston and Cincinnati and BYU, but then those conferences that they're coming from are just going to be even more decimated, and we're
yeah,
just going to start like wiping out a bunch of conferences. So I think that what the NCAA needs is, if you're going to like move teams around and that's what you want, just start moving everybody around. Like do a whole revamp, get
yeah,
like your conferences set, and be like, this is what we're doing for the next 15 years, and we're not moving them. Like if you're going to like move a couple teams now and it's going to really like change the landscape, just like get them all over with now and move everybody now. Like don't do some now, a couple more in 5 years, and just like, I don't know. I think if you do it all at once, it's like a lot better.
yeah. I mean, especially if you're just moving a couple teams like here and there, it's tough on the coaching staff too because they're so used to game planning for these like certain coaches. It's gonna take a whole lot more work to go over all that film and install a whole new game plan, which they're
Yeah.
typically, a little have a head start on.
That's the thing though. I think teams changing conferences, like one which might seem like insignificant move, could really change recruiting for a lot of teams. So like a
Okay.
conference, like we can say like the AAC, if they lose like their three best teams,
Mhm.
then everybody else in that conference, all their teams, or like the recruiting process, like players might be like, oh, I don't want to go play there anymore. Like we're not going to play Houston and Cincinnati, or we're not going to play UCF anymore. So like, why would I go there? We're just playing, I don't know, USF now and ECU, like a lot
Yeah,
worse teams. So then those teams are going to become worse, which is, I
I
mean, maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a Temple fan and that's our conference, but like, I don't know. I think you're ruining a lot of
completely
programs.
agree. Yeah, I think you're spot on there for sure.
It'll be interesting to see. I
I
mean,
think you're opening a lot of doors and closing a lot of doors too. Cause
mhm.
I mean, there's traditions built. Like, I mean, Michigan, like even like there's traditions built out of conference too, but like Michigan plays Michigan State. There's a trophy built up. I know Minnesota has like the Paul Bunyan. Like a lot of people, like there's traditions built up into these divisions. I mean, Texas, I know Texas had a lot of like rivalries. They have a lot of trophies, especially amongst the Texas teams. USC and Notre Dame have a trophy like that they like pass back and forth, I'm pretty sure. But like you ruin a lot of traditions if like you end up going this way. But I think what, like this is another bold prediction, but like by the end of this, especially with NIL like opening up everything, I think that what's going to end up happening is that like college like systems are going to end up turning into like a minor league for like the NFL, where it could end up being like a one and done because players are able to make money now. So like you're able to like pay the players, and since the NCAA isn't really hands on with anything anymore except bowls, like that's the only thing they're really organizing. I have a feeling that these conferences are going to end up seeing a lot of money making potential outside of being a part of the NCAA and like breaking off into being their own governing bodies and just running their own like football league.
That's kind of what I think that's a great point. That's all I really got to say about that, because I don't, there's something I was going to say, but like what you said, you hit the nail on the head. I don't need to ramble about it. But Braden brought up a good topic that we can discuss, NIL. I mean, you're a college athlete yourself. Like, what are your thoughts on players being like athletes being able to make money now and stuff like that?
I'm like all for it. I think it should have been like that a long time ago. I mean, they're bringing so much like revenue to the college itself. Like they should be able to like make money off their likeness, no doubt. I just think it comes tough, like when you have an 18, 19-year-old starting quarterback for a big franchise making millions of dollars, like with like all that publicity and money, it comes like a lot of distraction. So I hope while they're implementing these like new rules, they're also implementing like more mentors and things of that nature. So like they're not just like doing something crazy with their first million signing bonus or whatever like that, you know? But I
For
mean,
sure.
not so much anymore because they have implemented those mentors in like the NBA and stuff like that. But back in the 80s, you saw all kinds of people going broke, you know, the one and dones. So it's dangerous, but I think it's the right thing to do for sure. I mean, the kids are making the money, so
Yeah. The one thing that I've always thought about with NIL, and I love it. Like the players deserve to make the money. They're the ones that are making the money, week in and week out for the universities. But when you look at a roster and it's like, yeah, the star quarterback's making $1 million, but then what about like the last player on the roster, the last 20 players on the roster, like those kids that are still on the team, they're still on scholarship, but they don't really play. Like you still kind of feel for them if they're not getting any endorsements. That's why I think it was Miami, like a couple teams have done it, but Miami specifically, they've entered some deals as like teams,
oh
like a
really?
team deal where like, maybe we'll do a commercial. I don't know exactly what it is, but maybe they'll do something and the team shares a pool of money. So then everybody gets the same amount. So I think it's important for programs to let their kids do whatever they want. Like if you want to go get your own endorsement deal, great. Like make as much money as you can off of it. But I think the programs need to also be aware that they should be actively vying for endorsements for everybody to at least get something yearly. So it's not like, oh yeah, we only have a couple players making money and then the rest of the roster is making nothing. Like
Mhm.
I think if there's like that balance of like the program helps out players to make money by getting like team deals, and then you can still go off and make your own deals and sign whatever endorsement that you want. I think that's like a good balance, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess, if that happens.
I saw some team do a similar thing for like their walk-ons. They had someone sponsor the team and like get everyone like scholarship players. So,
It's
so
BYU.
yeah, BYU. So there's a lot of like potential programs and teams can do to benefit there. So it kind of opens up doors, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm happy they finally pulled the trigger there.
For sure. I think it's just like it's a thing that's gonna continue to grow. Like this is we're what 2 months into NIL basically, like 3 months. Like it just like this
Feels like
just started. So whatever, like people are gonna look at it and be like, oh my God, like this kid's making that much money, like doing this, like that's great. Think about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like whoever the star quarterback at Alabama is then, they're gonna be making bread. Like we're gonna
And
you can go, Brad.
it may have been just a little bit inflated, like just to start out, because this stuff's never been tapped into. So you don't know like the potential of like, the Ohio State quarterback that left high school. Now he's making $1 million. You don't know the
Oh, yeah.
potential like that of their marketing value. So like quarterback for Clemson, DJ, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. He got a Dr. Pepper deal and you see him in the commercials and stuff. Like I think it opens a lot of doors for stuff like that. Players are always going to be making money, but like a lot of like what you were talking about Miami, their deal, every player on the team gets paid $600 a month. Michigan State just struck a deal. I can't remember who with, but every player on the team makes $500 a month, like just for this stuff. And I mean, it should have been like this, like what Connor said, it should have been like this all along. And like for them finally pulling the trigger, they didn't even pull the trigger on this. Like they had to have like a court ruling to have to like push all this. So like the NCAA didn't want this. So it's so crazy that this has never been able to be like a thing, especially like when you have people, I mean, like some might say like he might be better off destroying like on YouTube. I know that he's like huge on like one-on-ones, like kickoff, like kicking and stuff like
That's
that.
the kick. That's the guy that kicks,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
He got kicked out of UCF for having a YouTube channel and using his name, image, and likeness for basically boost his YouTube channel and YouTube viewing. Like that should have been a thing this entire time. If you have the personality to go out there and do that kind of stuff, why does it stop you from being able to like open your doors for more opportunities down the road? Like just because you're a college football player?
The NCAA doesn't want to see anybody else win other than themselves. If somebody else is making bread that they can't, get their hands on, they don't want it. They don't want to see it happen. That's this is a conversation for another day. But
Yeah,
the
come on.
NCAA is the biggest fucking scam. They're the biggest assholes. Like they suck. They suck. It's as simple as that.
So moving the conversation forward, it's a big week for the NFL. Your Cowboys opened up the week on Thursday night. Dak Prescott looking pretty good, Connor.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a Cowboys fan. I for sure like root for them because my dad, but Dak looked really good, man. Their offense is explosive. They got weapons everywhere. It's tough to see Michael Gallup go down. He's a underrated receiver in my eyes, but they got their defense could step up a little bit, but it was a great game to open up the NFL season, man. Tom Brady drive to end it. I mean, you can't really beat that.
It's just typical Tom Brady. I mean,
Yeah.
we were watching the game on Thursday night. Me and my roommates, we looked at each other and said, "You gave Tom too much time. It's over." Like
same thing on me and my roommates. It was wraps.
we've seen it for what is this, like year 20 something now? Like
I
it's
want to say
ridiculous.
22.
You're
Yeah.
too many. You're too many.
You're too many.
44 still doing it, bro.
I guess it depends on who you're asking because we've been on the receiving end of all of Tom Brady's, but Connor's been able to root for him from being a Boston kid. So
Yeah, dude. I've always liked him. I'm not necessarily a Patriots fan. Don't have a favorite football team. Haven't claimed one yet, but I do like seeing Tom Brady win. It's cool to see that legacy just grow even more. I mean, I feel the same way about LeBron. I know you guys aren't LeBron fans, but
I was actually going to ask a question that had to do with like Tom Brady and LeBron. So we had this conversation the other night, and I said, based on like what Tom Brady's still doing, like you just know, like the other night, you knew that he was going to win that game. Like he's just it doesn't matter that he's 44 years old. Like you knew he was going to win that game. He just won a Super Bowl last year. I said that either him or Serena Williams are like they're not like, they're like the best athletes of all time because like, or like, I guess you could say, I don't know the word to put it.
Strongest legacy for their sport.
Yeah, like something like that, because like LeBron and like MJ, like everybody says like MJ is like the best athlete of all time. Like kind of like people, like if you have this conversation, people always go to like, oh, like Michael Jordan, or if you say who's the best basketball player, it's like Michael Jordan, LeBron. But I think like what Tom Brady's doing is better than like anyone in any sport. Like I think he's the best football player of all. Like he's obviously not the best football player of all time, like statistically, but he's just like, I think what you said actually is like good, like the best legacy.
Yeah.
Like he's just unreal. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely fortunate with the position he plays to have the longevity of his career to last this long. And like the NFL just keeps evolving to help him prolong his career. But I think like looking at a guy like LeBron, it's just unbelievable. Like, I mean, yeah, he's transformed his game quite a bit. He's got more of a post game, he facilitates more, but dude's like at the end of the day still jumping at the gym. Like, dude's 36. It's pretty unbelievable. So
if you really think of it, well, LeBron went to 8 straight finals.
Yeah, like
yeah.
unheard of.
I think people get complacent with success. People get too comfortable around like seeing success. Like we see Tom Brady go to the Super Bowl every single year. So we start, oh, he lost the Super Bowl. Oh, I mean, next person, not Peyton Manning wouldn't have done that if he was in that situation. I mean, he would have easily made that throw, but Tom Brady did everything to get to that situation. I mean, there's so much more than just being on the field too. I mean, there's prep before the game. I mean, Tom Brady takes pay cuts so that other people can get paid. That's a huge one. That's the biggest factor that nobody mentions, is that he takes pay cuts. He's never been the highest paid quarterback. I mean, nobody talks about this. Like, he's never been the highest paid quarterback in the league. Patrick Mahomes is the highest paid quarterback in the league. They have to go through gymnastics to figure out the salary cap for him. They can't bring in like a big weapon. They can't re-sign their guys to keep going. Like, they have to go through gymnastics to keep this thing going. The Buccaneers did too, but I mean, Tom Brady took a $25 million pay cut.
Tom Brady made it a whole lot easier, that's for sure.
I just think also on top of that is like, people just want like the greatest in the respective sports to, see their downfall. Like,
yeah,
I just think it's so crazy, like how much hate on Twitter I see about LeBron, like or like how many people say all of like Tom Brady's like Super Bowls or like, just excused by the refs.
His defense, yeah. This one call prevent. It's like it happens with everything. If his kicker wouldn't have made this, he wouldn't have been in the situation. It's like, yeah, but if the other team's kicker wouldn't have missed the point after attempt, they would have been in the same situation anyways. It's like shit happens.
Well, people find a way to hate no matter what. If you're the
For
greatest,
sure.
bro. They don't want to give you.
It's an easy thing to hate on too, because like greatness is such an easy, like you can only be great at the highest level for so long. So like it's such an easy thing to like, oh, I'm gonna wait for him to like as soon as he throws 2 interceptions in a game, that's it. He's done. Like, come on, bro. Like I honestly want to see Tom Brady succeed. But
Week 1 last year when they lost to they lost to the Saints in week 1 last year, his first game as a Buccaneer, and everybody was like, oh, he made the wrong mistake. Like he made a mistake by going to Tampa Bay, this and that. They started the season off actually like kind of bad. Like they lost a couple of games. Teams like people were killing Tom Brady's decision, and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna win a Super Bowl. Like it's just, I don't know. He's unbelievable.
Were you guys getting bored of seeing Cavs Warriors finals?
Personally, no, because I'm not.
Comeback was cool.
I love greatness. Like I love watching greatness. People always hated the Warriors side of the finals. I personally loved it. I was like a big Klay Thompson fan, so I love watching them play. Like I just think they're so entertaining to watch when they were all together.
Arguably the best team ever play. Like that's pretty
exactly.
And I got annoying when KD joined them, because it was just it was just the aura around that move. It was just
that's kind of how I feel about the Nets and Lakers right now. Like
yeah, I agree.
The thing is though, especially with the Nets, is like they signed all, like they brought in all these players from like free agency or trade, where the Warriors, I don't care what anybody says. Like I know that they added Kevin Durant, and like he is like a top 5 scorer of all time. And like he, at the time when he signed, he's probably the best scorer in the league, and he probably still is. But like they drafted Draymond, they drafted Clay, they drafted Steph. Like you can't kill a team for being great at drafting. Like what do you want them to do? You want them to draft busts? Like no, like
I think it was easy to root for them before KD signed, and then as soon as KD signed, that's when it like made it really hard, because it was like, come on, like try to even out the league, try to take down,
People hate
I
Steph
get that
Curry too, bro. And he's like
really
like I don't know. I see so much Steph Curry slander all the time, bro.
I personally don't, because of the move, but I think it's okay to hate Kevin Durant because of the move, but you can't hate the rest of the team. Like they're on the team, like yeah, they probably vouch for him to come, but like, why wouldn't you? If I'm on the Warriors and like we're the best team in the league, even without Kevin Durant, I'd be like, fuck yeah, Kevin. Like, I want to keep winning. Like, I'm here to stack my bread and win basketball games. Like, I don't give a fuck what fans think.
Like, please come here, please.
Yeah,
exactly. So I think it's stupid to be mad at the other 3 on the team. Like, if you want to blame, like, if you want to be mad at KD and be like, oh, you're a loser, you sold out for a chip. Like, sure. I know for a fact if I'm in the league and I'm rich as hell and the last thing I need is a chip, I'm selling out for one. Like I just want to win. I'll sell out for one if I have to.
Everybody wants to win a championship. That's a goal, man.
Right.
Sometimes.
I don't know. It's a touchy subject. Everybody's got their own opinion. Whatever. They're cool. But enough basketball. I'm over the whole basketball talk right now. I want to talk baseball, because baseball is almost over. Your Red Sox, my Mets, we're close. Yeah, I think you guys are in the wild card right now. We're
right now in the wild card. The Yankees have been on a 7-game lose streak.
Yeah, we got you. Don't worry. Last night the Mets got you.
Shouts out. We got the Blue Jays right behind us for the wild card, and then the Rays are just playing out of their minds still. So other than the Orioles, got a good little 4 teams
great
there.
Division.
Great division.
But this is a really good year for baseball, though. Like, probably one of the greatest offseason or like trades during the season. I mean,
right, Scherzer and Trey Turner.
So it's been fun to watch. I've definitely been trying to keep up with baseball more than I usually do this year. Mm-hmm. So it's been fun to watch.
I think every year I start to struggle, like right when like basketball ends, just because like I feel like they do a really bad job at marketing baseball for some reason, or maybe it's just because I'm not around TV a lot, because as soon as basketball ends, I stop watching like ESPN like every night, seeing like all the highlights, because I know it's just baseball. So like
it's ESPN's fault, bro. They like hate baseball.
They do.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
as soon as like the NBA ends, all I see is like Ben Simmons. Like I don't care about Ben Simmons.
Like we are done talking about Ben Simmons. Like Francisco Lindor hit 3 home runs last night. That should be the leading story right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm obviously very biased. I'm wearing a Francisco Lindor jersey at the moment. But like last night, that game, my roommate, he's a Detroit Tigers fan who does not give a fuck about baseball. He was out there like cheering along last night. This morning, he woke up. He was like, that game was crazy last night.
Dude, yeah,
Like,
it's one of the most electric games like played in a long time.
it was a sick game. And like for it to be the Mets, that made me, it was happy. We were on the right side of history for the first time.
Bro.
And it was just so much fun. Like, and to beat the Yankees, fuck the Yankees, man. Like, that just makes it even better. And on prime time, ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, the big acquisition, hit 3 home runs. Like, that's just, you can't write a story better than that. There was the bench is clear. There was almost a fight. There's nothing better than that.
Gotta love baseball beef, bro. That's some of the best beef there is, dude.
When the bullpens come running in from the bullpen, that's the best. I love it. They're so late to the fight, but they make sure that they make it. That's for sure. But
can't wait for playoff baseball, bro.
I saw a stat this morning. Braden, I told you this morning. The Max Scherzer stat since he got traded. In his 8 starts, the Dodgers are 8-0. He has a 0.88 ERA since joining the Dodgers. He's given up like a handful of runs. That's it. This is a team that they did not need him.
I mean, Trevor. Okay, so apparently Trevor Bauer's curse word isn't going to be allowed to be back, or is on administrative.
Done for the year.
Yeah. So I mean, the trade made sense. I mean, they went all in with Trevor Bauer. He's still getting paid, so he's making like $1 million a week. So, which is a ridiculous number, especially for just going. He's like, there's pictures of him like hiking and stuff. So the man's is getting paid to live a life now. Curse word again. Curse word. We don't talk about him on this show. We needed the trade, and I mean our salary cap or our payroll has to be huge by the end of the year. But I mean, they're all in. They had to go all in before the season. They had to go all in at the deadline, and we just came off of a huge sweep. So I mean, I hate saying we wouldn't, but the Dodgers just came off a huge sweep, and I'm really excited for playoff baseball because that's the best time of the year.
I mean, why? Like, there's nothing to not be excited about. But what you were just saying, how I said, like, you guys technically didn't really need Scherzer. It's kind of like the whole Kevin Durant thing to the Warriors. Like, even though the Dodgers are so good, like, if we can add Max Scherzer, why not? Like, it doesn't matter who our 1 through 5 starting pitchers are. If we got 5 all-star starting pitchers, but you want to add Max Scherzer, go ahead. Like, why not? The players, oh my God, the boost that probably gave the players in that locker room. Like, yeah, we have, we're 25 games over 500, but now we're getting Scherzer and Trey Turner. Like, they're probably pumped at the trade deadline, and they've been playing great. It's just they just can't overcome the Giants.
It's wild.
I don't like talking about it.
I've never been a fan of like a powerhouse team, and like throughout being a fan, like the Dodgers turned into a powerhouse team. So like I was never like. I mean, I'm sure that you can speak on this as like a Celtics fan. I mean, people probably started hating the Celtics as soon as they got like Garnett and like they started, ramping up. But like the Dodgers are getting this trades. I'm like, dang, how can you not hate the Dodgers right now? As like an outsider, like I don't know how you guys can't hate the Dodgers, because I would hate the Dodgers if I wasn't a Dodger fan.
I want to hate the Dodgers, but I can't. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I should. Like, we've had some good rivalries in the playoffs over a bunch of years, but like back in 2015, like, I mean, we beat y'all, but like, and you guys kick our ass every regular season, but like, I don't know, like there's something about the Dodgers where like they really do have a lot of likable players, which is good. Like
the Dodgers right now.
What'd you say?
Who's the manager?
Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
I mean, so like they have a lot of likable players where like the Yankees, Garrett Cole's a fucking asshole. Aaron Judge is stupid. Like,
people probably started hating the Dodgers because of Trevor Bauer, to be honest. Trevor Bauer probably came over, everybody started hating him.
Okay, so maybe I should take it back. They have a lot of really likable players other than
the guy they just signed that didn't come through the system.
He's a fucking asshole. And like that, I'll leave it at that for now. I hate him. But like Cody Bellinger, super cool, even though he's like super ass this year. Corey Seager,
by Flonase.
He's awesome. Corey Seager's like super fun. I love Will Smith. like for no reason. I love Will Smith. I think he's one of the best catchers in baseball. Like they're just a lot of likable players, and I hate it, but I also love it. It's good for baseball, I think. It makes everybody else like that division. The Padres, they were like, they wanted to get Scherzer because the Dodgers were so good. So competition just breed. Well, I think right now in baseball, like the better the competition is, it breeds like better competition from like the people below you. But sometimes it could like, if they're so good, why are we gonna go for it? Let's just like tank. But people in baseball don't really tank. So
I think it's hard to tank in baseball because like your number one pick isn't always guaranteed to be the best player in the draft. Like
yeah, the dude doesn't play for like 5 years.
yeah,
Baseball's crazy, bro. We always talk about like baseball's a hard sport, like to go pro easily. Like
I would,
crazy.
I think I would agree for sure. It's
Yeah.
just like, it's such a weird sport where like, I feel like in basketball, especially lately, like the top prospects mainly, like they get a lot of chances in the NBA. So like they have a lot of time to prove themselves. But like in baseball, it's like some dudes come up that like are just so ass in the minors almost. Not ass, but like they really just seem like they're like not like they wouldn't be major league players. And then they get to like a higher level, which should be harder, and it becomes easier for them.
Yeah.
Like you've seen guys that like do not produce crazy numbers in the minor leagues. They get called up and they're just like animals in the majors. Like, or people like Justin Turner, like
Yeah.
they bounce around to a bunch of teams. They're not very good. And then just out of nowhere, he changes his batting stance one year and he's fucking, damn near silver slugger for the next 10 years. Like, it's such a weird sport.
baseball's I think might be the the only one-on-one sport that in every single thing that you do is a one-on-one battle between you, yourself, and another person. Because in football, you kind of have to rely on your team. I mean, like if you don't have a good team around you, you're not going to be the greatest player. I mean, you can be, but it's going to be really hard. Basketball is the same way. If you have a really bad center, like you're not going to be the best team. Like if you have a shit center, a really good team, like you're not going to be the best team. Like it's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
But like baseball, you get to the plate, it's you versus the pitcher, and that's it. The outfielders isn't affecting you. The catcher is
Nope.
not affecting you. It's just you against the pitcher, which is like the craziest thing because that's why baseball's so cool, because you can have success without needing a team around you.
Look at Mike Trout.
Yeah.
He's like one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And the Angels made the playoffs like once. I don't know.
Vladdy Jr. might get the Triple Crown, bro.
He might. He really might. He's having an unreal season.
Be cool. Like what we were talking about earlier. It's really cool to see greatness. Like I think that that's something that I've realized growing up too. Like it's super hard to like just sit and be like, wow, that was really cool. Like that I was, able to watch this. And like 20 years from now, people are gonna mention this and like I'm gonna be like, I was in my living room with my boys, like watching this stuff. And like it's just like such a cool thing. Just in general.
I remember all the Lakers Celtics finals as a kid. Like that's one of the highlights of my childhood, probably. Like even when like Kobe beating us, like I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Braden, you mentioned like you were talking about the whole like baseball is like the one-on-one sport, and it's like I feel like there's a lot of like every other sport, it's like easy. Every year, like we talk about the best players in basketball, it's like always the same top five: LeBron, KD, Giannis, Steph. Like maybe every once in a while, someone else you can vouch for. But baseball is like the one sport where like if you talk about like all-time greats, there's not like one person that sticks out. It's like such a like there's a lot of parity in the league where like if you like you could ask like 100 people who's the best baseball player of all time. I'm telling you, you're getting like 35 different answers at least. Like I don't know why it is, but like there's every year there's always like someone that's like the best pitcher in baseball. It's never there's never consistency in the game. So like I don't like
sport to be consistently good at,
Yeah. I mean, do you think that it has to do with like being a 162 game season?
I don't even know if it's just that. I just think it's like I think baseball is just the hardest sport there is, and I think it's like literally just the hardest sport to be consistently good at. I don't know, man. It's
now, who would you say, like, just your opinion, like, there's no right or wrong. Who's the best baseball player of all time? Like, if you had to pick one.
I don't even know. That's such a hard answer, bro.
It's like, that's what I think, like, it's like truly impossible.
Because I mean, everyone like throw out names like Babe Ruth, whatever, but like I've never like seen. I've seen like
Exactly.
highlights that they put on replay. Like
Yeah.
of my generation, like I mean Mike Trout's probably up there. Like I don't know, dude. Who'd you guys say?
Braden, what do you think?
Dude, Jacob DeGrom.
Hey, the boy.
I guess like going off of like that entire thing, just saying like it's so hard to answer that just because of that like individualism, like in basketball. Like you can have that argument, oh, well, how was Jordan without Pippen? Like how was LeBron without Kyrie? Like you can do all that because it's all a team sport, but like you're not gonna be like, oh, how was Mike Trout with a drop 4 bat instead of a drop 3? Like he's gonna be Mike Trout no matter what at the plate. So like if he's smacking home runs, if he's getting a double, like that shows, like no matter what. And like a lot of players have shown that they can be like the best of all time. Barry Bonds would be my answer.
I was gonna say Barry Bonds based on the fact that this man got intentionally walked with the bases loaded one time. That is just, if you put that much fear into another team that they're like, you know what, we're gonna give up a run just so you don't hit a grand slam or like you don't put one in the gap, then like that's, I don't know, that's crazy. That's different. I would never even consider that as a manager, I feel like, but I've also never faced off against Barry Bonds. So I don't know. But it's like people want to kill Barry Bonds because of the whole steroids thing. I don't know. Hank Aaron, Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Trout.
This topic has come up on the show before. Like you can't just completely ignore an era of baseball. Like if he's not getting suspended and like if you're not preventing him and you're reaping the benefits of him hitting home runs, then why are you ignoring that part of the game?
I think that
just a shame.
I don't know. I think that Major League Baseball they think that they're doing the right thing by like, oh, we need to have no cheaters. But like you said, you're getting rid of, like you're forgetting about like one of the most exciting times of baseball history, which was like the late 90s, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa. Like people loved baseball at that time. Like people were just hitting home runs. It was fun. It was interesting. And I'm not saying that people should be able to like take steroids, but I don't know. I personally don't like, I think all of them are Hall of Famers. Like, I don't care. Like I think the Hall of Fames of all the sports should be more so based on like who creates the story of that league. So like you don't have like, if you're telling the story of baseball, right? And you got to go to this location that describes the story of baseball. Like Barry Bonds has to be there. Like Barry Bonds is part of the story of baseball. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Like, I don't know. We can definitely just move on from this conversation because it's something that I could just talk about all day, every day. But
got any closing thoughts on this, Connor, before we jump into some of our every podcast questions?
Not really, man. It's just exciting to see. Like I think people are starting to pay more attention to baseball again, and I think that's good because it's a great sport, man. But
it's a great sport.
It is really nice for them to take that shift to like, especially the youth, because like every youth person can like, relate to that 19-year-old that was like struggling and then all of a sudden got his big break, or like 21-year-old Tatis like figuring it out or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's pretty cool. So jumping into these questions about you, what are 3 songs that you would be including in your pregame playlist?
Oh, that's always tough.
Or artists. We can go with artists too. Yeah.
I'll do some songs. I always listen to Freestyle by Lil Baby.
Okay.
No Flocking by Kodak. And then before the game, I don't like to be too hyped, like calm down. Like a lot of my game is like mental. So I'll probably listen a little bit of Drake, chill out a little bit.
I mean, you can't mention Drake and we can't just like skip over the fact that CLB just dropped. So like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, is it my favorite album, Drake? Like I couldn't like determine that now because I'd have to like, play it some more, listen to it. But I like it. I think it's a really good album. Got some bangers on there. But
Knife Talk's my favorite song.
21, I will say 21 carries that song.
I love 21. I'm a big 21 guy.
Yeah, no, he's a great feature for sure. Yeah. But no, overall, like great album. Even just Drake's solo song, like I think like the album itself, it's for like the true Drake fans. Like, yeah, I think he's got some Take Care in there. He's got some Views. He's got some Nothing Was the Same. So it's kind of a good mix of everything. So I was definitely like not let down at all. Like I'm a pretty big Drake fan, I'd say. So
Yeah, you're probably one of the bigger Drake fans that I know, and I'm probably one of the
yeah,
lesser Drake fans that you know. So like that's the thing. Like I haven't given it a full chance. I'm gonna have to do that at some point. I think it's definitely like if somebody else did this type of album or like dropped it, like say I don't know, say Gunna dropped an album that sounded like this, people would love it. Like it'd be like the greatest album of all
oh,
time.
for sure.
But just since it's Drake, it's more like
Yeah,
oh
like
we expected greatness.
yeah, but I do think it's a great album. So
Yeah, I
he
feel that.
he delivered for me. But it's like crazy to think about. He might not drop an album until he's in his 40s. You know, he
Right.
could be like one of his last albums, which is crazy to think about.
For sure. What do you think about the cover art?
I don't know, bro. I don't know what that is. Like, there has to be some type of meaning behind that, bro. Like, I know like a lot of people didn't think it would be the cover art. They're like, oh, like the album's 9 months late, so it's like see. But I don't know, bro. I think he's just kind of at that level where he's like, I'm gonna do what I want. But
Yeah, I get that.
Definitely better than Donda.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Definitely better than. I hate Donda. I just hate everything around Donda. So
you don't like Donda at all?
I like
I was gonna say if you can't talk shit about CLB's cover art and then like Donda's.
Yeah,
I hate Donda so much. That might be my controversial take of the day. So moving on to your controversial take of the day.
Dude,
what would you land on?
I had a few like while we were talking. I was thinking about it, but I think one of them is like Ben Simmons is not that bad at basketball.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like, dude, like it's don't get me wrong. Like I had money, like a good amount of money on that game where he didn't make I think it was game 6 against the Hawks, where he didn't take the layup.
Game 7.
Like,
I was watching at a bar with all Philly fans.
Yeah,
it was bad.
But like yeah, he played bad, but like at the end of the day, like he could be a franchise changing player for a lot of teams in the NBA. So I don't know.
Ben Simmons is the best defender in basketball. And
he gets a lot of slanders for guys that can't like make a 3-pointer in their YMCA, you know?
Yeah. I honestly didn't expect you to say that. Like I did not think you were gonna go anything Philly related, which is so random. Like I don't know. I loved it. Like Ben Simmons is good at basketball.
He gets a lot of hate, bro. Like he's not that bad. Like
I'm telling you, dude, it's the Philly market. Philly is such a bad market.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
No doubt.
I think Ben Simmons is good. Like I said, I think he's the best defensive player in basketball. And
you have to work on his game for sure.
Oh, for everybody does.
Yeah, but he's not a bad player.
Not at all.
I think if I were to make another hot take, stay in the NBA. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think like Jason Tatum will be like that young generation MVP that's next up. Like,
okay.
I think he's got Book beat. Like,
yeah, I would say he's probably better than Devin Booker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased for sure, but I just think he just brings another element to the game than D-Book.
Yeah. My guy that, like, based on, like, what you were saying there, like, the next generation MVP, my guy is Donovan Mitchell. I don't know why. I just think he's so different.
Dude, I wasn't, like, a big Donovan Mitchell guy, but I watched, like, these playoffs, like, really in depth. And, dude, he has a way better J than I thought. Like, he was just doing everything for the Jazz. Like, I was impressed. But
for sure,
another guy you throw in there's Luka.
I mean, Luka, like, see, I put Luka on a different spectrum. Like, I think he's the best young player in basketball. Like, if I'm starting a team right now out of everybody in the league, other than Giannis, I'm taking Luka. I just think he's that good.
I think if I were to start a team right now, I'm still taking KD.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Even based on age and
for sure.
Damn, I feel that. I mean, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. That's for sure.
I just think KD is disgusting, bro.
He's so good.
Another hot
big Trae Young fan. Big Trae Young guy.
Bro, I hate
I fucking hate Trae Young.
Bro.
He's like the villain of the NBA damn near. Like the villain of like the young NBA, I feel like.
He's the villain of He's the villain of the NBA because the Knicks are the NBA. There's my controversial take.
Hot take.
Even when the Knicks are bad, everybody talks about the New York Knicks because everybody wants to be the New York Knicks. Winning or losing, that's my controversial take. And I'm
just because Stephen A. It's just Stephen A.
No one's talking about the Knicks when they take Stephen A. off the air.
Fuck Stephen A. I don't like him either. He's a bitch.
They only get brought up because of Stephen A.
No. Stephen A.
Tripping. Knicks for clicks, baby. It's literally a trend. Knicks for clicks.
Man, I don't know about that, but
Connor, did you have one more hot take in you? I kind of interrupted you.
I did, but I just lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, you're good, bro. I don't know.
Connor's just firing out here. Just
Firing off on take.
1, 2.
I had one, but let me think. Oh, do you
Well,
think, not a hot take, but do you think the Trae Young's game is going to decrease when they change the rules? Might.
I don't know. It's not good for his game, I would say. Like, even though I hate Trae Young, I think he's super good. Like, coming out of college, I love Trae Young. Like, I thought he was the second best player in that draft behind Luka. So, like, I like Trae Young. I just hate him as a Knicks fan. He's good. Like, I don't think it's going to change too much. But the thing is the thing that's wild is he hasn't hit that many shots. Julius Randle made more threes than him this year.
Yeah. Was he shoot like 33% behind the
Like
arc?
33, 34% from three. Like,
Yeah.
people think that he's like Steph Curry.
Nobody's
When
like,
he's really like the Walmart version or like the Dollar Tree version. Like, but he's still super good. Like, his floater, maybe the best in the game, like untouchable, but he can't play defense. I don't know. The team is kind of built around him to be pretty successful. So
yeah.
I don't think the rules though necessarily will change his game too much. He doesn't, trust me, during the playoffs, I thought that he was this guy that like was just like a foul merchant. And like, if he wasn't shooting free throws, he was really bad, which I think at times he can be like that, but he doesn't shoot like a crazy amount of free throws that people think. Like, James Harden shoots a lot of free throws.
Watching his game was impressive to me was his like 2-man game, like his pick and roll game.
It's
like, that's like the best like pick and roll game I've seen in a long time. Just like that floater to oop, like he had centers in shambles. Like,
it's so good. And he has the two probably best, well, not the best, but like, you can't really draw like two better players to play with him than John Collins and Clint Capella. Like, they are the perfect pick and roll. Let me just catch an oop and fucking put someone on a poster kind of players.
No doubt.
So he's on a good team.
Yeah. Who do you think won that trade, the draft day, Braden? The Mavs or Hawks?
I'd probably say the Mavs. I mean, Luka's incredible, but
if you said the Hawks, I'm telling you, I think
I'd still take Trae Young. Like, I wouldn't take Trae Young over Luka, but I still love Trae Young. Like, I think that I like where the game's headed. Basketball's in a good spot right now.
I think it's in a great
basketball's
spot.
in a great spot right now. It has a lot of really good players to take over as soon as like you get like the LeBrons leave, the KDs leave. Like,
yeah, the league's in good hands for sure.
The young talent in the league, like we already talked about Tatum, Booker, Mitchell, Trae, Luka, but like we don't even talk about people like Shai Gilgeous. Like, he's filthy. He's insane. He might be better than Trae Young. Okay, maybe that's a hot take. He might be better than Trae Young.
Yeah, dude, like when people were surprised when he got that deal in the offseason, I'm like, you guys have not seen that.
He's worth every penny.
Yeah, and you have to do that as a franchise. Like, I would do anything to keep him.
I don't know. Like, Braden, you made a great point. The league is in great hands. And
I think, dude, NFL young talent, it's crazy to see these young wideouts. I mean, you saw Jamar Chase yesterday.
Devonta Smith had a great game.
All these guys, like the young talent, I think just keeps getting better and better. Like,
for sure.
All these young quarterbacks balling out. Joe Burrow had a day. Mac Jones looks promising. Jalen Hurts, like, I think is a stud.
Yeah, he had a great game. Yes, I agree. Like, I feel like if you think about, maybe I'm just wrong, but like if you think about 10, 15 years ago, like maybe there was like 5 to 10 quarterbacks in the league that you were like, damn, they're good or like really good. But like, I could see like 20 quarterbacks in the league now that could be like obviously we have like the great quarterbacks. We have like the Pats, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's. But like the list is pretty like deep of like really solid quarterbacks.
I didn't pick a quarterback in fantasy until like the 10th round, bro. Like,
yeah, Matthew Stafford's just sitting there. He had 28 for me yesterday.
Really,
you kidding me?
It was really tough this year, especially when people were saying like, "Oh, which first round quarterback would you pick to be your like to be good this year?" I was like, I think they're all going to be good. Like, you can't and it's super hard to say that. Like, last year, like Jordan Love was taken in the first round. You knew that he wasn't going to play, but like what you're saying, like fucking Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, like all these players are starting for their teams, and they're all like going to be starting for their teams for a long time. Like every team feels like they have their guy. Josh Allen. I mean, all these teams feel like they have their guy, and like they're locking him up now. Like Patrick Mahomes locked up on a 10-year deal, and like he's on his rookie contract. He was on his rookie contract, getting locked up on a 10-year deal. Josh Allen's still on his rookie contract, getting locked up for long term. Like, it's crazy to see. And like it was cool to see the changing of guards too, because like you saw like Phil Rivers leave. You see the like Drew
Tony
Brees leave.
Romo.
Yeah, you see the changing of guards and like that's cool. Like especially to like a fan, that's pretty cool to see because like you really only hear about it. Like you only hear about like when Brady got like his starting job, like his chance to start and stuff. But now we're all seeing like the chance to start. We're gonna see Justin Fields start this year, guarantee it.
Yeah.
Like Andy Dalton is trash. I will never understand why Andy
He's
Dalton is starting
dog
for the
shit.
Bears, but like it's in like a really good spot, especially like all these quarterbacks feel like they can be franchise guys. Jameis Winston, like I mean, looks like he can be a franchise guy.
Facts.
The
Like-
LASIK surgery did him right, bro.
They're all so young too. Like obviously, besides like AR and Tom Brady, like the league is like young quarterbacks: Pat, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and like this doesn't include any of the 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round this year. Like Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be good. Zach Wilson's probably going to be pretty decent. Justin Fields is going to be good. Trey Lance is going to be good. Mac Jones might be good. Like these are
Crazy
just
how
5 more.
Mac
quarterbacks.
Jones was the best quarterback out of all of them. He said might. He had the best performance.
All those quarterbacks scored touchdowns yesterday. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was.
The one thing that I saw yesterday, out of the top 15 picks, all the skill position players scored a touchdown except for Kyle Pitts. So Jamar
Really?
Chase scored, Smith, Waddle, the 5 quarterbacks. That might be all of them.
That's crazy, actually.
I
didn't
think
see
that's
that.
all of them. But other than Pitts, he didn't really play very well. But the Falcons played horrible. So
Yeah.
They played
It'll be
really.
fine.
Calvin Ridley kind of got shut down to an extent.
yeah, I really have him in fantasy, and like he just did not care about that.
All right. So moving into our last question we have for you. If you were given a year-long paid vacation and you were told you can only bring 5 things outside of like your everyday items, what would you bring?
Sheesh. I'm trying to think. Like, I for sure have to bring. I have to have a TV there. My off time, I love to watch movies. That's big time, and like sports, obviously. But I have to
We'll go
bring.
with the jailbroken. We'll go with the jailbroken fire stick. There we go.
I have to bring a chapstick. That's big.
Word.
That's like my girlfriend. She can't leave the house without putting on chapstick because she gets sunburnt. I couldn't believe that was the thing.
For her, bro. She knows the vibes. I'm really trying to think. I don't even know.
It's a hard question.
Other than essentials, man.
You bringing any people with you?
People?
Yeah.
Bring the boys for sure. That's a long year right there.
Yeah.
Boys. Can't be by myself, bro. Got to bring somebody. I'm not a gamer. I don't really game like that. Maybe I'll have to get the PS5, bring that. Dude, they got some crazy games coming out though.
yeah.
College football is coming soon. I'm excited for that. They're kind of teasing it through Madden right now, and I'm
Dude,
kind of.
they brought back NCAA. That'd be nuts.
That's like it's not hard too. It's like especially with the NIL stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
just pay them like $1,000 or whatever.
Just
I guarantee
pay 'em.
you're gonna make more money than that. Like
No doubt. No doubt.
You got one more thing that you're bringing with you?
Dude, maybe a Rubik's Cube, bro. Just looking at it right in front of me. That give me like a couple weeks entertainment right there if I'm really bored.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. So those are your 5 things. I'm telling you, it's a horrible question. It's a great question, but it's so difficult.
Quick on my toes, man.
it's a deep question. That's why we have to tell you guys before you come on because you kind of got to think about it. Like
Yeah.
again, we every single episode we say we're gonna make our lists and then we're gonna say them before our guest says them, so that way our guest has an opportunity to kind of like hear ours.
I want to hear your guys' list.
I think my first one was Nick. I was gonna bring Nick,
Let's
and then
go.
I was gonna bring Lindsay and Finn, and I think that was all categorized into one. So whatever. I had baseball cards or something like that.
Solid.
I don't even remember. I had like a lot of stupid things.
Maybe I bring like a Nintendo DS for the plane ride. Play some Pokemon or
For
something.
sure.
Dude, I found my Game Boy Advance the other day, and I got hype.
The hidden gem right there.
I think if I had to bring 5 things, like I'm bringing the PS5. Like me and the boys are playing COD. Like that is just happening. Like that is happening. I'm bringing a basketball.
Oh, that's a good, yeah, bro, for sure.
Gotta bring a basketball. I got a hoop. Like,
I'm bringing a basketball for sure, bro. Just go out there with some headphones in. You don't even
right,
need anybody, bro. Just bring a ball.
right. Brady, I don't even need you. I just need a ball. That is it. It's all I need.
That's fine.
I'll bring some. I'll bring some friends. I think friends and family type. Like maybe I'll bring like 5 people. Think what do I got in my
I was
room?
just looking around the room.
I think I said I'd bring my car. Oh, that's what it was. I said I'd bring my car, alcohol, PS5, sports balls, and like football, like stuff like that.
That's
And
solid.
then people.
Yeah,
I
I
would
think.
think car too. Like unless I lived in like somewhere like New York or something, I for
Mhm.
sure bring a car because like freshman year I didn't have my car here for some of it. That shit sucks.
Yeah, I think alcohol is a must. Like, especially if you're bringing the boys with you. Like,
I'd have
we
some
need
booze
we
for
need
sure.
to we need to
Like,
crack some cold ones on
yeah,
Sundays.
if you watching football, bro, you gotta have some booze too.
Yeah, like it's just a must. So like alcohol,
That's a
sports
solid list,
stuff.
Brayden. That's a solid list.
Yeah, it's a. So mine was alcohol, PlayStation, basketball, friends. Last thing, bro, I need, and this ain't on no weird shit. I need like hand lotion. My hands be getting dry as shit.
I feel that.
I'm
That's
be. I need it on my face. I need to put lotion on my face daily. I
hygiene
need to
thing
bring
right
that shit.
there.
And that's not like an essential. Not everybody needs lotion. I need to bring lotion. I need to keep my body pristine
Gotta get that
if it
get
is
right.
pristine. But so other than that, we don't really have any other questions for you. We appreciate you coming on. I mean, this is great. We get to catch up. We haven't really talked in a while. Just having people on from our childhood, our friends, the boys. I mean, this is what this is about. Just having fun. This was great. We appreciate you like getting some time out of your day. I know you're busy, but good luck with the rest of your season. We'll keep in touch and everything. And we appreciate you having you on. But this was episode 6. We'll be back next week. Thank you.